no success in the world can compensate for failure in the home. That's why Club Wealth was founded, to help driven, successful, and busy real estate agents like you double their business while building a strong, balanced home life. Join us each week as high-producing agents and team leaders share their stories and unpack the principles and systems they've used to double, triple, and even quadruple their business while enjoying greater quality of life. And now, here's the latest episode of Club Wealth TV.
Michael Hellickson here with Club Wealth Coaching and Consulting. I am here with my very special guest on Club Wealth TV today, Mr. Frank Klesitz of Vyral Marketing. Dude, let me just tell you about Frank. This guy, he really is the man. You know, a lot of people say, oh, he's the man. But no, when they say he's the man, what they really mean is Frank is the man. This other guy, he's almost the man. Frank is truly the man when it comes to marketing. This guy knows what he's doing. And I can tell you that because he does a lot of our marketing. In fact, he does a lot of Club Wealth's marketing. And so why am I paying this guy? You know, I teach people how to market. Why in the world would I pay Frank? Because he's freaking awesome at it, and I'd rather just pay him to do what he and his team do than for me to have to figure it out and go screw around with it on my own when I could be out doing other things. So that being said, Frank, thank you so much for being on Club Wealth TV today.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you having me here.
Absolutely. And, you know, you guys, normally my co-hosts are here with me. Brian is actually, Brian Curtis, for those of you that know him, he's actually on a cruise right now. And as you guys know, we believe that no success in the world can compensate for failure in the home. So he's out there living that and bringing value to his family right now. So that's why he's not here. And then Cherie Benjamin, many of you don't realize this yet, but Cherie Benjamin is actually going to be co-hosting Club Wealth TV with us going forward. And she is actually in, I think, Jamaica, or I can't remember where the heck she is, in Aruba, someplace sunnier than Seattle. So anyway, they won't be here today. That being said, last thing I want to mention before we dive into the content that Frank's going to share with us today, actually two things. One, don't forget our sponsor. Our show sponsor is, as always, WiseHire. And let me tell you, when it comes to your recruiting needs, WiseHire is freaking fantastic. We love those guys. Yep. They do a great job for us. We use them with our expansion teams all over the country, and they knock it out of the park for us. That being said, Frank is also going to be at our upcoming Listing Agent Boot Camp. Listing Agent Boot Camp is May 8th, 9th, and 10th in Denver, Colorado. And we're doing a pre-day. So Frank's actually speaking twice at this event. He's going to be at the pre-day. So on Monday, the day before the event officially starts, and do we have an official time for when you're doing your class on Monday?
Not sure. It might be up on the website under the event section of Vyral. Okay. They figured it out. But yeah, there's a 3-hour workshop where, if you like what you hear today, it's 3 hours where we go very deep on writing a database building and marketing plan. So it's free if you're attending Listing Agent Bootcamp, because Michael hooked us up with a free room. So if you're going to be going, there's a way on there. You don't have to pay for a ticket.
I love it.
Which is nice.
I'm super excited about it. I really am. I'm super excited about it. And here's the thing, you guys, if you've ever been to one of Frank's classes, he does go deep. It's not surface level stuff. He really does go very, very deep, and he digs deep down into exactly what you need to do. Here's the thing. I believe it's going to be afternoon on Monday. If I'm right, I'm assuming we're going to probably do it in the afternoon.
Up on the website. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I know a lot of you guys are going to be coming in that morning. And so that being said, you guys, you got to get out there. You have to get out there to that class. So very excited. Cannot wait to hear all the great feedback we're going to get on that one. All right. So that being said, what are we talking about today? Talk to us, Frank, about what we're going to learn today.
Well, what I'd like to talk to the audience today about is focusing on building long-term wealth in your real estate business. And it's not from buying rental properties necessarily, which is certainly a great way of doing it, by the way, but it's about building a relationship and a brand and trust with a database. And too many real estate professionals, and this is actually like all professional service providers, by the way, you know, they're getting hit up from, contractors are getting hit up from house of getting leads that way. There's all these apps selling people leads. So there's a Zillow in every industry. Okay, where they can sell you leads. And there's discount providers with all this technology taken off where, it's not going to surprise me at some point you're going to see people saying 0% commission. Or we'll do it for, instead of 1% at Redfin, we'll do it for 0% because they're making all the money on the back end on like mortgage and title is the way they put it together. So you have all these forces basically trying to compete for the real estate agent's commission. And the challenge is, how do you compete? And the answer is a relationship with a list of homeowners that know you, like you, trust you, which you can, I'll use the word manufacture. You can create online with video and marketing. So they hire you just for the feeling that you provide them of protection through the transaction. Not even so much the checklist of what you actually do. So anyways, what I want to get at today, if you are looking to build a long-term business in real estate that stands the test of time, and you want to hedge yourself against competitive pressures of being in real estate, a database is what's going to do it. So we have to focus on reconnecting. Let's talk about reconnecting with the database today. Michael, let's talk about how to grow your database. Let's talk about what type of content, how to communicate, how to stay in touch so people actually get to know you. And then we'll talk about some ways to proactively reach out to your database where you're not a pest, to start some conversations to see if you can proactively get some business as opposed to like waiting for them to call you.
You know, so here's the thing. People don't understand a lot of times the importance of those relationships and how there's all the old school ways, right? Like we talk about your client events, which are, by the way, the client events are huge. We're big proponents of client events. You should be doing your client events 4 times a year. That's all very, very important. We also, a lot of people back in the day, people went to the old Brian Buffini seminars, right? And they'd, we're going to do pop-bys, and we're going to run over and we're going to go visit all our clients and bring them a plant or bring them a, pumpkin pie or whatever. And I'm not saying those things don't work. What I will tell you, though, is that you've got to be very, very careful about making sure that as you transition from chasing business to attracting business, that you're using your time wisely. And as you start moving from tier 1, which is like 0 to 25 transactions, tier 150 in DCI, into tier 2 and higher, probably not going to have a lot of time to do pop-bys, right? You're not going to have time to go drive and buy all of your clients' houses on a regular basis. And so what do? Well, you've got to get to a point where you can start leveraging your technology. That's right. You're working with that, dude. You just nailed it. You're going one to many instead of going one to one. And I'm not saying you're not ever going to go one to one, but you're really only going to go one to one with your A+ clients, right? These are the people that are sending you lots of referrals. They're doing business with you multiple times. The rest of them, it's all going to be one to many. And by the way, we practice this, right? This is also stuff that we do personally in our business and for Club Wealth. And so that being said, Frank, tell us the ways and how can we use technology to our advantage in developing a better relationship with our sphere of influence?
100%. So I would first say I've been doing this for 10 years, the same thing out of my own need. I was going to get into real estate. I was very close to actually selling homes back at like 21 or 22. And I needed a way to stay in touch with my list. And I figured the best way at that time would be to get myself on a little flip camera, if you remember those, the flip cam. And I wanted to publish videos to stay in touch with people, to get people to know me. And over the past 10 years, I've tried to figure out, like, okay, what really leads to results? Like, if there was like a certain key performance indicator, a certain metric that really led to people calling you and actually listing their property and hiring you and paying you full commission, and like actually were good to work with and referred you, like, it's not clicks, it's not likes, it's not open rate, it's not even views. The number one most important metric is minutes consumed. How long does someone spend with you online? And I can tell you right now, for Vyral clients, and you guys come call me and sign up, it's like, oh my gosh, I spent hours and hours and hours and hours watching your stuff. It's great, and I want to work with you. And those are the best clients. So a database, I want to change how people think about a database really first. Yes, a database is a list of people you know. All right. However, with technology, let's just flip it a little bit. It's really a list of people who know you. And when you start getting on video and you start publishing, you can build an audience, a database, if you will, of a lot of people who know who you are. And that's infinitely scalable. And that's how you start getting people to call you and know you and like you, because they're spending time with you online, right? So I'll get to the reconnect here thing. So if you like that idea, how can you get people to spend more time with you online? That's really the key thing. What do you publish? Like, what are you going to say that people actually want to like spend time with you online about? And I'll get into the topics today, but there has to be like an overall mission, an overall purpose of the content.
Well, first of all, I love what you said about it's not necessarily people you know, it's people who know you, right? Because I think people think that, oh, my sphere of influence, this has to be people that I've got a deep relationship with. You may not have a deep relationship with them yet. That's the idea, is we're going to build a deeper relationship with them. Yeah. But if they know who you are, like your dry cleaner, right? Do you have a deep relationship with your dry cleaner?
Michael, how many deep relationships do you have with your clients? You can't have that, but people know who you are because they watch your stuff.
That's right. And okay, so now this one's a big deal to me. I hear this all the time. People, they'll engage with us and I'll hear them say something like, I feel like I already know you. Mm-hmm. And what cracks me up is the reason why they feel like they already know me is because they see my what?
Video.
They see our videos all the time. They're seeing our videos. And so, you guys, videos, and I know you're going to be talking about video, Frank, but, this is where it is. You guys, when you're sending out videos, when people are engaging with you on your videos all the time, it makes a massive difference. That's how they get to know you. If they can't get to know you, and then they can't know, like, and trust you. And in order to know, like, and trust you, they've got to have a relationship with you. But you're not going to be able to, again, it's to Frank's point, it's one to many, right? So to go one to many, you do a video, all of a sudden, 1,000, 500, and who knows, maybe for you it's 10, 15, 20, 100, 500 people. But eventually it'll be thousands of people that will watch a video with you. And all of a sudden now, guess what? Boom, these people feel like they've had a conversation with you, even though you just had the conversation one time. It's like having literally 1,000 people in a room where you get to now do a presentation that's 1,000 people, they start to get to know you.
Yeah. So if you could write this down, audience, is if there's something you really want to think about to maximize social media, to maximize online marketing, to maximize YouTube, to maximize all this online stuff, if you really want a good lead of someone that pays you and hires you and actually pays you full commission, not a bunch of buyer leads you have to chase down, let's say, if you really want good leads, it's about the amount of time someone spends with you online. That is, in my professional opinion, the number one most key metric. All right. So what's the attitude? What's the mission you have to create content? Well, I'll tell you what it is. You want to create content that educates people about real estate and connects the community. You want to publish content that it's almost the mission of your newsletter. It's the mission of your blog. It's the mission of your Facebook page. It's the mission of your email newsletter, is to help people make smart real estate decisions and better connect the community. All right. In many ways, you want to think of yourself at a higher level as kind of like the journalist of the area. We talk more about that in the workshop, but you see how you're kind of publishing this helpful, interesting content, and people will spend time with you. And I'll get into exactly what that is here in a minute. And the third thing I want to say, all right, before we get into reconnecting the list, is, Michael, when people start off on your tier one, they're probably terrified to death of the phone. I would assume.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Call reluctance. You're terrified just to pick up the phone and call anybody, honestly, about anything that has to do with maybe your profession or job, right? And you're challenging them to step up their communication game, right? Then they're probably scared to death of going on a listing presentation. So you have to work with them on their communication skills to do a listing presentation. And then they're like, all right, you're doing well. It's time for an assistant. Right? Now you have to work on how you communicate with employees and staff, which is a communication skill, right?
Yep.
And then maybe, who knows, maybe now they're leading a small team and now they have 3 or 4 people working for them and now they have to lead a team meeting. I mean, it's all it is. It's just screams of terror on the way up.
It really is, right? Like they're scared every step of the way. But part of the problem too is, and that's one of the things I think that keeps people from building big teams, for example, or building a team at all, is because they don't think of just this first step. They're thinking of all these steps down the road, and they're so scared to death that, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all this?
It's a big step to make that point. So for most people to sit down on a webcam or to create video, you're getting to like the highest levels of, my opinion, communication. And the reason is because you're not getting any feedback from the audience. Like when you're in a one-to-one call, you're getting feedback from the person. When you're at a listing presentation, you're getting feedback. When you're meeting with your team, you're getting feedback. But when you're on a video camera, it's just a lens. It's kind of terrifying when you start, right? So what I'm challenging everyone here in the audience is success is something you attract by the person you become. Jim Rome said that. All right. And for you to make more money, to become more successful, I'm challenging you to become a better communicator. That's what Michael's doing this coaching program with you guys.
I'm writing this down. I love Jim Rohn, and I love that quote, so I'm actually writing it down. Success is something you attract
by the person you become. And if you want to sell more homes, if you want to have more come list me listings, if you want more people to pay you full commission, who do you have to become? And I'm going to say you have to become a better communicator. And I also say you have to do it with media as opposed to one-to-one. Become a communicator with media. And that's where I want you to start using video. Got it? So I think that kind of sets up a little bit of the attitude here of people spend time with me and my target market, et cetera, better communicator, so on. So let's get into some of the actual tactical stuff. So reconnecting with your list. All right. So, Michael, do you ever get people that say, I don't have a database?
Oh, all the time. Here's the one I love. I love it. Hey, Michael, I use Excel spreadsheet. That's where my data, or even better, my database is in my Outlook, or it's in my phone. Or I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Really? Like, you want to be in business next week? Because at this rate, it's not looking so good.
Yeah. So, is it cool if I share my screen? Does it work on this?
Absolutely. Please do.
Cool. So let's take a look at Facebook. All right. If I go on down here to, let's see here. Good Lord. I don't even use this much. Here's my personal Facebook page. Here we are. Friends. Okay. So anyone can go on their friends list. Hey, there's Michael. You have a lot of friends, Michael.
I got one or two.
You can go through your friends list, and these are all people you should probably be reaching out to in some way to say, hey, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my real estate newsletter. Or let's say I live in San Diego. Maybe I would call my real estate newsletter the San Diego Real Estate Journal. You certainly could do that. Right? Your Facebook page, your blog, your emails could be the San Diego Real Estate Journal. It's your publication. You're publishing your way into the attention. And the mission of your publication is to, your video blog, your 2 videos a month, whatever it is. But you're going to start publishing some content as a better communicator, and you want to invite people to subscribe to it. So you have to start reaching out to people. And one of the best memory joggers for a database are all these individuals. Now, here's the thing. None of these people may actually help you buy or sell a home, but they could certainly refer you. All these people know hundreds of people. So when I look at this list, a lot of these guys went to college with. A lot of these people here will never, ever actually hire Vyral, let's say. They have no need, right? So I'm not going to sell it to them, but they certainly know people they could introduce us to. So if you go through your Facebook friends, all these people you could start reaching out to, and you don't call them saying, you want to sell or buy a house. It's ridiculous. You call them, I'm in real estate.
You might as well cold call. It's even worse than cold calling.
Yeah, it's worse than cold calling.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in real estate. Just calling up, reconnecting. It could be a message too. It could be a text, whatever. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Right.
I invite you to subscribe to this new newsletter, this new video blog, this new Facebook page I'm putting together to help educate, inform the community how to make good real estate decisions, better connect the community. I think you'd really enjoy it. People are going to say yes to that. And now you're building a permission-based list, which, by the way, is one of the biggest assets in business. Is a list of people that have given you permission to stay in touch. I mean, that's what it's a huge asset. So I want to show this to you. Also, you have LinkedIn. So I don't know if I'm logged in, but you have LinkedIn. You have my network. You can go through. I have so many. I have to play catch up. But you can go through all of these connections. These are all people who know who you are, arguably. You might not know who they are, but we're stepping up our game where they might know who you are. And you could reach out to them and invite them to subscribe. I would reconnect with your existing database. Right? That's it. Now, tactically, another option for you, depending upon the email deliverability options you have with your email marketing provider, like MailChimp, right, is you could, and it's getting a little more difficult to do this because I spoke about this at an event last year, but you could actually get the emails of your LinkedIn connections. There are ways to get emails of your Facebook connections. There are ways to get the email addresses, obviously, out of your Gmail account, let's say.
Okay, now these are all very, especially your LinkedIn and your Facebook. That's a big deal to be able to go in and get their emails out and be able to now email market to them as well. That's a big deal.
So we talk more about that in the workshop of the physical execution of that. But just understand,
will you be going over that at the CH Bootcamp?
Yep. Perfect. So there are ways to export your LinkedIn connections. You can Google that. It's not hard. There are ways to get the emails of your personal Facebook friends Okay, you can get the emails of all the people you have in your Gmail account or your Outlook account. All right. Once you have all of those emails, what I'd recommend that you do is scrub them through a service like NeverBounce. So NeverBounce will remove all of the emails that are undeliverable and bounce and don't work and guarantee like you have a 99% deliverability, because a lot of them are bad, right? And now, and this all depends upon the terms of use of your email service provider, you may or may not be able to get away with sending a very simple, very purposeful reconnect message that goes something like this. All right. Dear friends, family, clients, connections, I'm writing you because we're connected on social media, or we communicated some time, or you've requested to connect with me at some level. I just want to let you know that I'm selling real estate here in Omaha, Nebraska, and things are going great. You put your house on the market, it's probably going to sell in 30 days for asking price at this point. But I want to let you know that a lot of things you hear in the national market is not necessarily true what you're hearing locally. So to answer a lot of the questions, I decided to start the Omaha Real Estate Journal. It's a publication I'm publishing. It's actually a video blog of 2 educational videos a month that I'm going to post, answering commonly asked questions about real estate, interviewing local businesses, interviewing people, just to keep you informed and better connect the community and answer questions about real estate. I'd love for you to receive it. If you don't want it and you never want to hear from me, that's totally cool. Just unsubscribe down here at the bottom. Otherwise, I look forward to staying in better touch. On top of that, if you're thinking of selling your home, reply back. I got a bunch of buyers, and I know how to find buyers for it. And if you want to buy one, you can actually go here and search all homes for sale on the MLS, just like we do as real estate agents, and see everything for sale. But call me if you want to put an offer, because there's probably like 5 other offers on the house. I know how to get yours accepted. So I look forward to staying in better touch, Frank.
Yeah, super simple.
How cool is that, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's low key. It's not. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just, look, dude. Here's what it is. Here's what we're doing, and it's people will connect with that, as opposed to, hey, let me sell you something, right? We're not going for a sale here. We're just trying to bring them some value.
Now, what I want to say is that that is an unsolicited email, but it's not. I wouldn't call it spam. I mean, I know what spam looks like. I could take you through my spam folder. Okay. But the idea is that depending upon the email service provider, you can probably get that reconnect message out, and you have like a database to start with. The point is, don't get attached to how many people unsubscribe. Don't get attached to how big the list is. You reconnect with what you got, and those are the people that want to hear from you. Fine. Emotionally detach yourself. You haven't been staying in touch with the database like you should have been. You haven't been doing it. Deal with it. Get over it. All right. Don't. There's so much emotional attachment to like, oh, why are these people messaging me or coming back? It's okay. We now need to move onward after reconnecting with your list that you just did, because we have to grow it. And Michael, I'm going to give everyone on this webinar 2 ways to get email addresses from people. Right? Dude,
I love it. All right, let's hear it.
Here's 2 ways. The first way is when you coach somebody, let's say in tier 2, because this is probably more of a program for someone on the tier 2 of what you're doing.
So tier 2, so you guys that are watching know, tier 2 is I make at least $150,000 a year to $500, and I'm doing 25 to 75 transactions a year.
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly do this in tier 1, but you're focused on just picking up the phone, honestly, to jump to video. This is probably more of a tier 2 thing. So a tier 2 client, how many people a week would a tier 2 client typically be speaking with at all about real estate? What's their contact goal a week on tier 2?
Well, I mean, it should be at least 50 people. Well, let's put it this way. If they're contacting 25 people a day, right, or that would be phenomenal. But the reality is, what are most doing? I'd say I'd say it'd be awesome if they're talking to 5 people a day that they've never talked to before.
Let's call it that.
Pretty impressive.
All right?
Yeah.
So 25 people a week.
Right.
So someone's speaking to you with 25 people a week. Now, Michael, think about all of the energy and the struggle and the time, or if you're spending money on marketing, the money it took to get those 25 conversations. Can everyone feel that?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's gigantic.
All right. So here's what I want you to do. Here's the first tip. You have to offer a free subscription to your newsletter or ask permission to stay in touch at the end of every conversation. You need to write it down on a sheet of paper, put it above your computer. All right. And remember, hey, here's a script. Hey, it was great to speak with you. By the way, I publish a video blog of 2 educational videos a month, or I publish a newsletter, or I have a Facebook page, whatever. All right. I want to make sure you get the material, because it's great. It's about how to, it's about what's going on in real estate. It's about the community here in Omaha, Nebraska. Would you like to receive it? And a lot of people are going to say, fine. And you say, great, what's your best email address? And you get their email address and you add them to your database. You could start building this permission-based list you become a human opt-in form, essentially. of, of contact information when you're talking to people. And imagine if you started adding like 15 people a week to your list. That's 60 people a month. That's 720 people a year. This is how people's business is. You have people that stagnate, that are constantly chasing shiny objects and looking for that thing. They have to constantly keep buying business. They're like here all the time, barely profitable. Well, you might, this is how someone outpaces them because they're building that list over time. They start getting more people calling them where the profit is.
So, okay, well, actually, keep going on this. I've got another question I got to get to that's really it's kind of been itching at me. You want me to jump in now, or do you? Okay, I don't want to get you off your track, but I've got people that are in my ear here saying they're wondering about this. Some people out there are saying, email marketing is dead and nobody opens emails anymore and blah, 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 blah. First of all, I don't believe that. I know you don't believe that, but tell me what your response is to that. What do you tell people about that? And by the way, you guys do a lot more than email marketing, by the way. I want everybody watching this to know. Frank does a ton of my Facebook marketing.
Oh, yeah, it's all media. Well, here,
any kind of media, right? So email is just one little piece of it.
All right, well, did you hear the, hang on.
Wittenstein.
Do you hear this? All right, here. Listen.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Aaron Wittenstein. I've been over-posting today. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I've been up since like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm going crazy. So Vyral Marketing sent out my first email yesterday. You may have gotten it. This is how many. I got to show you this. This is absolutely amazing. Let me see. These are how many people have signed up for leads, okay, on here. So those are just like the partial leads. Then I got 4 good leads, including this one right here over in New Rochelle that I just scheduled an appointment with. I got another one that I got a call back from. Where is it? Hang on. This one here, I got a call back for January 15th. So one email went out. I don't even know if all the emails went out. This thing is sick. It's like,
yada yada. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, there's still people are responding to emails now, and that's
there's a fraction of the market. So you're gonna have people. Look, you're gonna have the market. You're gonna have people that respond by direct mail. You're gonna have people that want a podcast. You're gonna have people that want an email. You're gonna have people that want LinkedIn post. You're gonna have people that want Facebook. You want to hit all of it, and that's why when you record that video is then edited and posted everywhere. Email is just one channel to get it out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You guys have to understand, you don't know if somebody's like an email person, if they're a text message person, if they're a Facebook message person. We don't know. The problem is there's so many platforms out there right now.
Yeah, you
got to be on all of them.
Yep.
You got to literally be everywhere. And that's the hardest part is you cannot just be in one place or there. You have to be everywhere.
And that's just, that's where Vyral comes in is you obviously need like an assistant to figure out how to do all that. Right. But so here's the deal. So you want to ask permission to stay in touch. Obviously, that's getting their email address. But it can go so far as to subscribe to the podcast. It could be, like my Facebook page, whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, like, the key here is that when you're talking to people, you need to make sure that you're offering them a subscription, you're asking to stay in touch, and you're adding them to your database. Now, there's a huge problem with number one. The biggest problem I see with number one is many agents are talking to a bunch of crummy buyer leads all day long, and they want listings. All right. So if you're just talking to 25 people that have no interest of ever selling a home and are all over the country and you're in a resort market, they're kicking tires, right? You're building a database, but probably not exactly of the best people of your target market. Do you follow me? You have to be aware of this.
Yep.
So number 2 is you need to pick a farm. You need to pick an area of town of homeowners, probably at a median price point that sell. And that's called a turnover rate, meaning for every 100 homes in this area, 3 to 5%, 3 to 5 sell every year. And there's ways to figure that out, and Michael's coaches can show that to you.
Yeah, you want the higher the better, obviously, right? You want high turnover neighborhoods where people are moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out.
It's going to be your bread and butter middle class houses.
Yep.
That trade, and arguably, if I could add one more thing in there, a market that like one agent doesn't have like a huge amount of market share where their signs are everywhere. But you want to pick a farm, and then you need some way to go out and meet the homeowners to like get permission to stay in touch. And you're probably wondering, well, how do I do that? Well, obviously you have your cold calls and door knocking, and that's always there. But let me give you another way, is I really love open houses to get nosy neighbors showing up in the area, whether you do one with your own listing or maybe you figure out how you could do it for another agent's listing to invite people there. Or just put on events for the community, like a movie night, I don't know, a picnic, whatever. I mean, there's so many different events that Michael's company gives you ideas with. But if you could just somehow invite the homeowners to an event and meet the homeowners in the area, that's the best way to build a real solid list of people in the target market. So all I'm getting at is to build your database, start asking for permission to stay in touch from people you're already talking to, and then make sure you also have some farm picked out. So you actually build a database of documented homeowners in areas that sell. It's business 101, Michael. Pick a target market. And we have to attack on a narrow front where we have limited resources.
See, and you just hit the nail on the head, because most of the people, especially if I'm in tier 1 or in tier 2, I don't have the kind of resources that a tier 4 or 5 has.
No.
Right. And so
you're going to feel insignificant because they're all over the city. But this has been studied in war since the beginning of time, and The Art of War by Sun Tzu or whatever. It's like, how do you beat your enemy? Right? Well, you have to attack on a narrow front.
Right.
So you have to pick a farm that is with your resources, to say, a couple hundred homes, 1,000, 2,000 homes, whatever. And you say, I'm going to put all my resources there. We had a client come in that's in San Diego. His farm is 3,000 homes, and the turnover is 5%. 150, I think. That would be 150 homes in that farm are going to sell. That's a great living for him, just working those homes.
Right. For somebody at that level. And that's the thing, you guys, regardless of the level you're at, you need to be building your database. This is one of the things we talk about a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Got to build your database every single day. You're just the saleable part of your business is not you. It's the database, right? If you ever want to be able to sell your real estate business, you've got to have a viable database. And viable meaning that it produces results on a regular basis with or without you. To get it to that point, you first have to build it. You got to have people in there. You've got to have a track record for communication with these people. They've got to be opening your emails. They've got to be responding to you on Facebook. They've got to be all these different things that you've got to build your tribe. And when you build a tribe, all of a sudden now you've got something that someone else will pay you for, because long after you're gone, they'll still be able to make money on that tribe.
Mm-hmm. And you don't really, you don't hear the database building message very much because it's hard. And, it's a lot of work. I mean, you have to go out and talk to people, you have to meet people, you have to publish content. It'd be nice if I could just write a check and like leads show up,
Yeah, people just want to say, hey, I'm gonna buy Realtor.com leads. And don't get me wrong, love Realtor.com leads, right? We've got a lot of clients that have great success with them. And it's great to be able to just write a check and get business to come in. But the reality, to your point, and I'm sorry, I totally cut you off, Frank, but I'm excited about it, because the reality is that when you literally build that tribe, it's the check you write once that pays you over and over and over and over again.
Yes. And that's where you get the profit. I mean, I think the profit in any professional service is in the relationship. If it's purely transactional, you're going to have to make up for the lack of profit in volume. So the profit is in the relationship. And the relationship, I would define, is the amount of time someone spends with you and the amount of communication that keeps a relationship alive, as my wife tells me. So the key here is, how can you get more people to spend time online with you? How can you build a database and get those people in your database to spend time with you online? And video like this is a great way, which leads me to my second point, or not my third point now. So we talked about reconnect with your list.
Yep, grow your farm.
We talked about growing your database, which the two ways of doing that are asking permission to stay in touch after every contact, which you could do on the phone or through text or through Facebook. Just add them to your database. And second, make sure that you're building the right list in a target market as well. Because you might come to me and say, Frank, I've worked so hard building a list. And here's the worst. The person's in a resort market, and it's a bunch of people coming to town that have really no intent of buying anything. Like, oh, honey, wouldn't it be nice to buy $1 million home sometime? Let's opt on the realtor's website. And say, yeah, sure, I have a newsletter. But the whole list are not buyers, or it's buyers, it's not homeowners, right? So you have to pick a target market to build a database of homeowners. And one of the best ways to start building that database in your target market is some type of an event-based strategy. Unless you are like a really hardcore outbound door knocker or caller, you could do that too. That works. All right. But for most people, the events is probably the way to go. That's what I would do. All right. Now, we have this list. We've reconnected. We have these emails coming in. People send me your stuff. You're going, oh, this is pretty cool. Now, what do you send them? What in the world do you send them that actually brings value to them, that is so good they'd be willing to pay money to receive it, that doesn't make you embarrassed of what you're saying? Well, let me tell you what not to send them. Anything that has to do with you.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it has anything to do with you, don't send it. If it has to do with your new brokerage, if it has to do with your listings, if it has to do with, how great your team is, or why someone should use your team, or it has to do with your great listing presentation, don't send it.
But why? But watch this.
Right.
You're right. First of all, I 100% agree with you, but tell them why.
Well, it's because you have to create content so good, people would be willing to pay money to receive it. All right. So, for example, this webinar is not talking about viral marketing, how great we are, your great coaching or whatever. I mean, people get it. It's on the website.
Right.
What we're doing is we're trying to create a webinar and having a conversation that's so good that arguably we could charge for this.
Right.
And we really are charging with people's time.
Right.
You know? So it shouldn't be about you. It should be about them. Now, let me explain that a little more to help you wrap your head around this. So let me give you basically different levels of content ideas as we work our way up of what works. All right. So let me give you the simplest. The simplest content is simple Q&A about real estate buying and selling tips. All right. So simple questions and answers about real estate buying and selling tips is the way to go.
So let's do some examples here. So for example, how to pre-inspect a house when you're looking at it or something like that, right? Or, the three things to look for when you look at a house for the first time.
Yeah, and I would say probably the best way, I'll walk everyone through this. So before I go through the topics, for someone who's scared to death of video because you haven't built the confidence and the communication skills yet, the easiest way to get comfortable on video is to have someone interview you. So instead of you having to set up a camera and look into a camera, look into a lens, all right, if you have someone interview, like this conversation here is very easy, I'm talking to you, Michael. So that's actually what we do for you at Vyral. We actually Skype in and interview you to help you with your videos as you build your ability to go off and shoot on your own. So just, if you're freaking out about video, the interview concept should go, oh, that actually sounds a little bit easier now. Okay, good.
And it is.
It is. Then you're going to go, what content do I create? Well, it's question and answer. Someone's going to answer you a question, you answer, and you go, oh, okay. That seems a little easier now. Okay, good. I'm settling you down now. All right. So now let's come up with some questions. Now, the best questions come from actual questions people are asking you through the course of your work week. All right. So one of the things that I love to do when I come up with ideas for my content is I look at my calendar for the past week and I say, look at all these appointments I had. And it re-jogs my memory of all these things, all these fires I put out, all these questions that were asked, all these things that happened. And I say, what were questions people were asking me? And every question has a story behind it, and that's literally how I come up with my content. What conversations were I having this past week? So an example could be, hey everyone, this is Frank with the Omaha Real Estate Journal. I like to publish content and publish some videos to help you make informed real estate decisions, help connect the community. Now, I was out with a buyer the other day in this super hot market, and it was a multiple offer situation. So there's probably 5, 6, 7 offers on this house. And the buyer asked me, should I write a personal letter with my offer? Should I actually put some pictures of my family? Should I write them a very letter of why they should sell it to me? Well, what's the answer? What did I tell them? Well, stay tuned. They'll find out. Right?
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, just something like that. So
yes,
you're thinking about what questions people are asking you in the course of business, and you answer those in your videos. Now, I understand that's a little bit difficult, but that's really assuring there's a good message to market match. Let me show everyone one more thing really quick.
And by the way, Frank, if you could lower your microphone down just to hear so we hear you there better. But by the way,
testing 1, 2.
Yeah, that's much better. But before I forget, though, I want you guys to think about this interview format. The other thing this interview format does, first of all, it gets you on video, right? It helps you to overcome that fear of being on video. And that is a major issue for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got to start getting comfortable on video. It's one of the easiest ways to do it. The other thing that it does is it positions you as an expert, because now you've got somebody like Frank, who's a freaking rock star, having a conversation with you. that's it's first of all, it's easier for you to engage. It's easier for you to answer. It's easier for you to have a conversation than it is for you to sit there and try and figure out, okay, now I've got to teach this and I've got to say that and how do I do it? And it makes it so much more natural that you then come across as the expert because you're just talking to Frank.
Well, you're also authentic. Here's the other thing with video is like, I could be speaking a foreign language and someone doesn't know how to know English, but they would like maybe just how I communicate non-verbally, and they like how it's more about people seeing who you really are and being authentic and being very real and being very open because they feel comfortable working with you. If that's what's important, and just getting people to spend time with you and know you and get to see who you are as your personality and character traits and whatnot through content, and a little bit less about like this amazingly great content and research you provided. Okay.
Right.
That's what's so great about video is people get to know you. Now, let me go back to the topics really quick. So the questions people ask you through your course of business, those are great topics for your videos. Now, another great way to find out what people are asking is to use Google. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go to Google really quick. All right. You see my screen, Michael?
Yep.
All right. And I'm just going to type in San Diego real estate. All right. So this is everything that people are searching for San Diego real estate. They want to know about the San Diego real estate market. They want to know San Diego real estate news, San Diego real estate forecast, San Diego real estate taxes, agents, rentals. Is there a bubble? What's the forecast for 2018? Where the school's the best? There you go.
So those are all great topics to talk about.
Yeah. And what you're doing is you're supplying existing demand. Instead of you sitting around thinking, oh, what would be a great topic to create? I don't know. Let's think of this. Poof. No. What are people searching for? What are they asking? And then you supply the demand. Right? So, I don't know, San Diego real estate bubble. Yeah, is there a bubble in San Diego real estate? Great. Put that out there. I'll get some clicks. Right?
So, but wait, hold on. What you're doing right now, this is the key, you guys. Like, seriously, you're literally just going into each of those drop downs and you're looking at what are the popular topics there? What are people asking about in relation to that topic?
Selling my Home Depot store credit? Oh, interesting. That's selling my home store. Some of the stuff you never would ever figure it out. How do I sell my home without a realtor? That's totally fine. Teach that. There's a guy that does seller workshops, sellerworkshop.com, and he teaches people how to sell their home on their own, and then they end up hiring because it's so much work. And you can actually see the different workshops that he teaches for this stuff, right?
Yeah. So
what I'm getting at is you can actually type in a phrase like hiring a real estate agent, right? To buy your home, how to do this. This is literally what people are searching for. So just to make your lives easy, audience, all right, if you go to our website under industries, I have the real estate tab. On the right-hand side, it says no more guest work, 24 recommended video topics that work. I went through and I picked 24 of the highest ranking, most searched topics that people are typing in that have to do something about real estate. So they're all right there for you with the direction I want you to take your content. And if you're not sure what to say, just Google that, and I'm sure someone has written something and just kind of use that as a guide. So
perfect.
Pretty straightforward, right? Now, as we start improving our communication skills, Michael, we move beyond just hard Q&A topics, which is totally fine, right? And we start moving into now, I would say, being more of the journalist of the community.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
And I love this technique. And I'm curious, after you explain it, I'd like to know, would you recommend, do more hardcore, question answer, this is, what you do, and then next one you do the journalistic, and then you kind of alternate them? Is that what you would do?
Yeah, I would do that. Mostly because it's just, you're not going to be able to step into the ring and do that type of content from scratch.
Right.
Start with the interview content, Q&A on a webcam where we talk to you. And now you can start expanding. So let's talk about some of the ways we move up the content. Now that we're just interviewing on video, let's just go now on Facebook Live. And now let's just have a conversation. Let's actually just do the conversation on Facebook Live. And one of the things we're going to be doing with our Vyral clients, Michael, is I bought lights. I bought backdrops for all of our people at Vyral. where we're going to be interviewing our clients. They have the option. Do you want to do this just where we record it and edit it? Or you just want to go live on Facebook and you get more reach, right?
Yep.
And we had that conversation with you.
Yep.
Now, when you go live on Facebook and use a service like Zoom, it's very easy to bring in another guest. It's very easy to bring in your mortgage person. It's very easy to bring in the new business owner from the new restaurant. It's very easy to bring in the developer, the home builder, the financial advisor, right? Your allied resources group. Okay. It's very easy to start bringing people in. And then once you get good at that, you can start now taking your camera out and going interview people in the community, you know?
And well, let's talk about who we're talking about here. So we're talking about, like, you know, go and interview the local bakery or the local, you know, whatever, literally, you know, businesses in the community, people in the community.
Because your mission is to connect the community. I mean, I would probably say any business and any professional service provider that sells to your farm, you want to be in touch with. And what a lot of our clients will do is, what happens is, look, everyone watching this, you're getting paid because you're a sales and marketing expert. The reason you get a commission is because you're selling sales and marketing services to somebody, right? Now, a plumber or a lot of these people don't really have those expertise. So next thing you know, you start like almost like advising different business owners in the community of what's going on. And what I'm getting at is, if you're struggling to have funds to do marketing, I want you to know that there are people in the community that will pay you, whether they're on the settlement sheet or not. So don't worry about RESPA. It can be totally off settlement sheet. All right. That will pay you to advertise in your videos, that will pay you to be on your blog, that will pay you to be in your newsletter, because you're going out and you're building this relationship with their target market too. So a lot of our clients, you know, for Vyral, we charge $550 a month. We challenge all of our clients. You can find 2 local businesses. It doesn't have to be your mortgage company. 2 local businesses that will pay you each $275 a month, a zero cost your fee, if you include them in your content. And you include some coupons with your stuff.
So wait a minute. So what you're saying is, not only does this not have to cost me money, this can actually make me money.
Yes. And okay. So for those of you interested in that, on our website, if you scroll down to the bottom, so on the projects page, we have a client that gets $25,000 a month in sponsor fee from 27 different businesses. And he's a Vyral client. And I'm pretty confident that if you went out and spoke with other businesses that sell to the same target farm that you are, the same homeowners, that they will pay money to co-market and co-advertise with you. And again, if RESPA freaks you out, you don't want to play the MSA game. These are people totally off settlement statement.
Yeah, but you only have to worry about that with people that provide services that get paid out of closing, right? So you're talking mortgage and
100%. Yeah, you skip all them if you want. But here's the deal: even if you do take mortgage money, you know, the whole standard is, are they participating in shared marketing, which they're totally doing with what Vyral is, right?
Right.
So there's a whole way to raise money with Vyral. And for anyone that's interested, if you go under the monthly implementation and scroll down here at the bottom, hang on, there's a section that says zero cost to your expenses, help promote your sponsors for a fee. I literally have the sponsorship agreement with the credit card authorization form of what you offer the person in return for money to co-market with you in your newsletter.
That's huge.
Is that great?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And by the way, as long as you're, there you go. When you're sharing your screen, we get the echo. But yes, that is huge. And you guys, here's what I want you to understand. This is, you don't have to be a big producer to do this. You don't have to be a big team to do this. You could do this as a tier 1, fairly new agent, or even brand new agent. You can do this. But the key is, what you're doing is now you're becoming the what's the word that Napoleon Hill uses?
You're like the connector, the community manager, yes. the mayor of the area, et cetera,
right?
And sees you with everyone else, and it works.
It really does, and it works very, very well. The key is, you've got to just bring great content to people, be real, be authentic, and make sure that, you know, if you're going out and you're going to do these interviews and stuff, not only are you bringing value to the people that are watching by interviewing this person, if you're interviewing a business, you're also bringing value to that business in a major way. And so now, to Frank's point, if I'm doing this on a regular basis and I can create, like, let's say I create a Facebook group, right, for that area. And so now I'm getting all these people into that Facebook group. I'm putting both the vendors, you know, the business owners.
And it fits. You're connecting the community.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
And so now we've got the group. We're emailing to them. I might even create a web page around it. You guys, we're not just talking about geo-farming here. What we're talking about is marketing at a high level on a low budget.
Yeah. And look, your job as a real estate professional is to sell real estate. Okay. Now, if you just focus on, after you reconnect with your list, and that takes some time and probably a few glasses of wine to get that over with. All right. The next step is you have to build your list. Now, you're already talking to people. Just remember to ask permission to stay in touch and make sure you're doing something with Target Farm. This is not rocket science. It's just focus. Like, oh yeah, that would make sense for my business. All right. Then when it comes to the content creation, it's not that difficult. Once you schedule some time, you think about it, you're very purposeful, you record your video, dude. It takes like 5 minutes to record the video.
Yeah, we're not talking about hour-long videos here.
Just
These
5
are
minutes.
Short videos.
Yeah, and then I've been doing this for 10 years. My videos are 15 to 20 minutes. You can start with a couple-minute video, totally fine. All right. That doesn't take much time. It's the support staff that you need to edit it and put together the email, and put it on Facebook, and cut it up to go there and there and there and there. And that was my own need that I needed 10 years ago. And that's why I started Vyral. We have 65 employees. I have video editors. I got writers. I got all these people that you just come in. You're the heart surgeon. You get paid your $100,000 for 15 minutes of work, and you leave because everyone else prepped the patient, takes care of them, but you do that super critical task. Which, if I could share with the audience a little, this is a big idea I'm going to share with you, but once you realize that you can scale a message, you can't really scale like a relationship. You can scale a message. You're going to realize at the highest levels of business. Look at Michael Health. Like, think of all the things Michael has to do at his company. What's he doing? Creating content, messaging, right? You look at, I don't know, Gary Keller. What's he doing? Writing books and speaking.
That's right.
You look at, everyone. They're public speaking. They're creating content. They're writing books. They're one-to-many, crafting the message so everyone else can teach it, right? So if you want a big income and you want to be successful, do as successful people do.
That's right.
And they're doing these things. And you have to grow to become a better communicator. And that's my ultimate challenge for our Vyral clients and anyone watching is this is how you build a sustainable, real business.
And I love what you're talking about. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, not just chasing commissions or chasing leads.
Right. One of the things I want you guys to pay attention to what Frank's saying, because what he's also saying is don't necessarily just do what these experts are telling you to do. Do what they're doing.
Look at what they do.
Right?
Well, they may be teaching you something simple because you're here, but look at let me tell you this little story. I was 2-3 years ago, I was dealing with just complete chaos in my life. I mean, I was being assaulted 360 degrees by communication. I had a phone, iPad, computer, ding, ding, ping, ping, pong all day long. It felt like I was just like I was a ping pong ball and a pinball and pinball machine. That's what I felt like, right? And I go to a Tony Robbins event, and I watch this guy who's like a multimillionaire for 4 straight days, completely and absolutely focused on the audience. And I'm like, this guy has so many more worries than I do. And he's not worried about all this stuff. And it was this.
He's present in the moment.
He's very, very, very present. He was very purposeful.
Yep.
Right? I learned a lot from that. I decided to get rid of my cell phone after that. I threw it away. I haven't had a cell phone for 3 years. So I work without a cell phone. And I said, okay, what are the things that he does? Because I need to get really good at those things. Everything's a distraction. And he speaks. He's a public speaker. And he creates content and he writes. And I find that very true with everyone. So I don't know.
Well, how often am I on the road? I mean, literally, every time you look at my Facebook feed, what do you see? Michael's on another plane. There he goes, right? I mean, it's I'm on the road 2 weeks a month. Why? Because I get to work one-to-many instead of one-to-one. So for me, it's all about live public speaking and webinars like this and Facebook Live. And by the way, in full transparency, I want you guys to learn from this. This is also very important, and we're going to wrap up here in just about a minute. But I want you guys to be thinking about something. So I screwed something up on this webinar. You guys probably don't even realize it. Some of you might realize it, but some of you probably don't even realize this yet. And while Frank doesn't realize this yet, but dude, let me tell you, I shared it to the wrong freaking page. I shared it to another page that we had. It's like this little page that's not even our Club Wealth coaching page. So it didn't even go out to our entire audience. And so now rather than freak out and rather than be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to stop it and start over. Look, here's what we do. We're going to take the recording and we're going to post it in the right spot, and then we'll share it out from there, right? The reason I'm saying this, I want you guys to understand, perfection is the enemy of success. Good is good enough. You guys got to start getting used to, look, I'm going to do the very best I can. I'm going to screw it up sometimes like Michael did today. I totally screwed it up today. But you know what? That's okay because I got a great team. I got Tori is back there in the office. And what's Tori going to do? She's going to make sure she grabs this video. She's going to trim it to make sure that, the intro is, it starts on time and all that. She'll get it posted in the right spot. She'll get it shared out and it'll be just fine. And the people that want to see it are going to see it. The people that want to get value out of it, they're going to get value out of it. And it's not a big deal. You guys can't be freaking out about, oh, my hair's got to be perfect, or my clothing's got to be perfect, or all circumstances got to be right. I mean, just stop worrying about
Michael,
that.
I have laundry here in my shot that I have to do.
What's that?
There's laundry back here.
I love it, dude. That's awesome. I love it. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. You guys, here's the thing. The people you want to work with are real people. They have real lives, right? They're not perfect. Neither are you. And let me tell you something. When you hold yourself out there as this perfect person, you become untouchable for people. That's not good, right? People need to know that you're a real person and that you screw stuff up and that you have laundry in the back and that you do stuff once in a while too that's not exactly as you would like it to be done. That's totally okay. People appreciate that and they will connect with you better because you're transparent and because you're like, dude, check out what I screwed up today, right? It's like no big deal.
It's just getting people to know you. So I'm going to sum up this whole webinar today. I challenge you to become a better communicator. How can you give people communication they want, they're excited to receive? How can you better communicate? You have an explosion in technology that has never been available to you in the history of time to reach people like you can. Use it. Use it. It's so powerful. That's all.
It is. And you know what's interesting? And people think that, oh, every real estate agent out there is using this technology and blah, blah, blah. The reality is, no, they're not.
No, they're not.
They're not. Very few people have really figured this out. And the ones that have, they're doing a ton of business. And I'll tell you, what's really cool, this is what I love. Here's my takeaway. And then I'm going to actually give us your biggest takeaway from today. And then I'm going to share mine.
Oh, my biggest takeaway.
Or your final parting thought. And then
I was trying to think if you said anything that really, really hit home with me. I said I don't really remember because I was, they always ask people, you ever ask two people how a conversation went? It's always the person.
Different answers.
Well, it's the person that spoke the most says it went the best. So I think this conversation went fantastic today. So, all right. I really have to say here is that I opened with there's a lot of competing forces against the profitable real estate commission. Everyone's chomping at the bit for it. And if you're relying entirely on lead providers, you're kind of held hostage to that, right? It's fine. It's a piece of the business. If your business is 100% outbound interruption based, there's trends and laws and things being passed against you that are making that more difficult over time. Sustainability. The most sustainable business is going to be building a permission-based database of everyone you talk to and people in your target market that hear from you, and to build the relationship online. So that's my parting thoughts is find like a key principle and apply that principle. That's the key principle, building a permission-based list.
All right. And I completely agree. Here's my parting thought. You guys, if you want to compete against the big teams out there, this is one of the easiest ways to do it because the technology levels the playing field. Social media levels the playing field. Email marketing and the ability to build your database, that all evens the playing field because now you can communicate to one to many just like those other guys can. But the reality is the big producers, a lot of the ones that are big producers today aren't doing a lot of that stuff because they don't think they have to. They think they've got all this other stuff working for them. They're in a comfortable place and they get complacent. And they don't realize that there's people like you that are getting serious about using technology and particularly social media and email marketing to their advantage, which now puts you in a position to have more conversations than they're having. So you guys take advantage of this stuff. So Frank, if we want to get a hold of you, where do we go?
Just go to getvyral.com, GETVYRAL.com on the homepage, you're going to see a link where you can download the official video marketing plan. That's the plan I want you to follow. You can download it right on the homepage, and that's the plan we help you execute. As simple as that.
I love it. All right, so getvyral.com.
Yep.
VYRAL. I love it. Awesome. All right. And so, by the way, another final shout out to our sponsor, WiseHire. You guys, wisehire.com/Club Wealth. Go check those guys out too. They're freaking awesome. You got to check them out. They do a great job on helping you with recruiting, whether you're hiring an administrative assistant or looking to hire agents for your team, any of that kind of stuff. Those guys are great. And of course, go visit us at clubwealth.com. We got tons of free information on there. And we love, just like Frank does on getvyral.com. We put out tons of great free information. And you guys, I want you to do the same thing in your business. Give people the good stuff. Give it out for free, because here's what they're going to be saying to themselves. If they're willing to give me this for free, imagine how great a job they're going to do with me when I'm paying them.
Yeah.
So, all right. That being said, you guys, it's been a great Club Wealth TV episode. Frank, thank you so very, very much for being here with us today. Cannot wait to see you at Listing Agent Bootcamp. You guys, if you haven't signed up already, get signed up for Listing Agent Bootcamp. You're going to go to clubwealth.com/LABC. Make sure you're there that Monday. Be there early on Monday so that you can see Frank in his bonus session. He's going to give us 3 hours of deep dive on exactly how to take this stuff to the next level. Have an awesome day. And remember, you are world class.